Spoiler warning. The following discussion will contain spoilers. We recommend checking out the movie first, then coming back to hang with us. But if you don't care about that, glad to have you here.
Jason.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Real Review. My name is Kevin.
And I'm John.
And we are The Real Movie Guys. Welcome to Real Terror Month, a series where we discuss movies that will send chills down your spine. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. A boat full of graduation high school students headed to Manhattan accidentally pulls Jason Voorhees along for the ride. John, I learned something today. I learned that Camp Crystal Lake is connected to the ocean. And somehow you can get to Manhattan from Camp Crystal Lake. Did you know it was big enough to host a giant ship? I did not know that either.
I didn't know. I didn't know it was a port.
Yeah, it is. It's a port. I bet you didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you can put big ships there.
So we've seen a lot of crap, right? We just talked about Jason versing, a psychic Carrie wannabe. Now we have Jason going to Manhattan when he only goes to Manhattan for about 20 minutes. And the rest of it takes place on a boat. This movie should have been called Jason on a Boat.
Well, it's funny, too, because I think like the first hour and 10 minutes, maybe hour 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
This whole movie, you don't see Manhattan at all.
Just in the intro, right? You see it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but that's about it. So it's kind of like a weird thing to put in a title of a movie
when it's not really there.
When their movie's like an hour and a half, and this is like an hour all the way in. It seems like a dumb thing, but
right. Well, I think this movie in general is it's a nightmare. There's a lot of things wrong with this movie in general. There's a lot of things wrong. There were budget issues. There was creative differences. There was, oh my God, there's a laundry list of things wrong. Before I get into the negative, which I hate to tell you, spoilers, this whole review is pretty much going to be negative. There's one thing I do like about this movie, right? There's one single thing. I do like the image of Jason in Manhattan when he shows up. I think that's a very cool scene. They show him like walking out of the alleyway, and you see him just in Times Square, and the camera just like pans around him, and you see him like looking around. That's a very cool shot. Regardless of how you feel about this movie, that idea and that shot is extremely cool. Like the premise of Jason being in a big city, it is a game changer for the character, considering he's only been in the woods and stalking campers around. We never actually had him, this monster of a man in a big city. So there was some premise to there, and that image alone, I feel like delivers that.
Yeah, I agree.
Again, extremely cool premise, right? The premise is very cool. And then we have the follow-up scene, which I do enjoy. Now, I could be mixed on this. I don't know. Personally, just because of the shitstorm this movie is, I think I just enjoyed it. When Jason kicks the guy with the boombox. He knocks the boombox over. He's like playing music in front of him as walking into town. And then the guys are like, yo, what are you doing? We're going to beat you up, or whatever they say to him. And then he turns around and he just like lifts up his mask.
You a dead meat slime bag. Yo, man, it's cool. It's cool, man. It's cool.
Right? You lifts it up, and they're like, oh, no, we don't want any trouble, man. We don't want any trouble. And they run away. And then Jason puts down his mask and walks away. Again, that makes no sense to the character at all. That's incredibly stupid, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. I actually got a verbal chuckle out of me. And then the rest of the movie hits you, right? And that's like the last 20 minutes of the movie that takes place. The rest of this movie is absolutely garbage. So there's a lot of nothing going on in this movie. There's a lot of strange characters, right? I mean, that girl, the main girl, Susie being one of them. Throughout the movie, she sees, for whatever reason, and there's no reason given, no anything alluded to, she sees images of Jason throughout the movie. And I'm not talking about Jason hockey mask Jason. I'm talking like little baby, young, deformed face Jason. She sees him like drowning. She sees like ghosts of him. And they're incredibly silly. They're incredibly stupid. And there's no explanation given to why she's seeing images of him throughout this movie. Now, I thought maybe, okay, we're leaning back into like the psychic gimmick, right? Maybe there's something going on with that or whatever. No. No explanation whatsoever with any of those images. She just happens to see like the spirit of Jason Voorhees, who's already on the boat.
Yeah, and it's
haunted by his ghost or something.
Yeah, it's
I don't
like
know.
his younger self is there, and she's
And
just
it's
like
stupid. It's really they're silly. They're stupid. They're oh my god. There's just so much I could go on about. It makes no sense. The cast is absolutely terrible for the most part. I don't think. Again, we're back to another movie besides Kane Hodder reprising his role as Jason. I don't like any of the cast in this movie. I don't like any of them. None of them are redeeming. There's a random girl who's playing guitar in like the under part of the boat.
oh yeah.
And she's rocking out, and then Jason kills her with a guitar.
Party on, dudes!
I'm like, okay, guess that's cool. Whatever.
Like the only cool thing about this movie, really, like if you get down to the nitty gritty, is like some of the music is actually cool in this movie.
It's
but the
average,
rest of it, the rest of it's so bad that it makes you wonder when you get halfway through, like, am I really gonna make it through this whole movie?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. So there's also lots of censorship in this movie. Now, a lot of the kills, we've been complaining in the series before where they've had a lot of quick cutaways with a lot of the kills. This movie's probably one of the worst offenders of that, where a lot of them are just flat out censored. We don't really see anything. You just hear someone die, right? He's about to do it, and you just hear them die. They don't really show anything. And that's majority of the kills, except for a couple. That's pretty much the majority of them in this movie. That's extremely disappointing. Another thing, which it sucks. This sucks to say. Again, I love Kane Hodder as Jason. I think he's a great Jason. I don't like his design at all in this movie. We had such a cool, unique design, at least from, the New Blood. Granted how bad that movie was, but at least there was something cool visually about him, right? You could see his spine, like he had the face disfiguration, he had a bunch of stuff going on. In this movie, he's just like a slimy monster man with rolled up sleeves. That's literally what he looks like. And it's not his fault. He has no control over that. He just plays the part. But I feel like there was such less love and care put into the Jason's look as a character that was extremely disappointing to me. He just looked slimy and gross.
Hi, I'm very ugly, but you should enjoy the movie anyway.
That was it.
Yeah, it was.
And he's wet constantly throughout the movie, which, I get he's been underwater for a long time, but dude, give that man a towel.
It's so bad too when you see like such a great actor as Kane Hodder playing Jason
Yeah.
when he gets put in these terrible movies and like how they just care about his character so little
Hmm.
that it shows you how much they cared about this movie in general.
Yeah, and it leads to another thing about Jason, unfortunately, where this becomes one of the more annoying Jasons in movies to where he teleports.
It's not an easy trick to do. I like to call it the instant transmission.
This Jason must be able to teleport wherever he wants because he's in one part for 1 second.
Surprise, motherfucker.
And then he's in a completely another area in the next second.
Surprise, motherfucker.
He's behind someone. When he's right in front of them, then he's suddenly right behind them. There's a scene where I believe he's like crawling up I think he's crawling up the mast of the ship. He's on all the way at the bottom, then suddenly he's teleported at the top.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Like, what the
Yeah,
hell?
which I thought was even like
I
thought
hate
when
teleporting Jason. I hate that concept so much. And unfortunately, it's become a big trend in horror, especially in slashers, where, suddenly, how did he catch up to her so fast? And this is where that stereotype, I think personally, it's always been there, but it's really defined, I think, mostly in this movie, where we suffer from teleporting Jason, where that ugly trope, if you will, came from, of just the antagonist being to catch up to the heroes by simply teleporting.
there's so many cool things about Jason and like making Jason teleport in places.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's such like a knock on it. Like it's so bad, especially they use it so much in this movie
Mm-hmm.
that I just don't like it at all.
No, another thing about this, unfortunately, is the effects are terrible overall. I think Jason's makeup job is overall sloppy. Any of the kills we actually do see, regardless if we think they're cool or not, which, we'll address on the real kill later, overall they look pretty bad. Right? I mean, you wouldn't think this is a newer movie. This came out in 1989, I believe it was. I could be super wrong about that. No, it was 1989. They look bad. I mean, some of the older movies looking way better than this, and that's unfortunate. That's a major issue for me.
It's sad too because as we've talked about through like all these movies, like they seem to take so much care about the makeup and like
Right, you look forward
just how
to
they
that.
do certain things.
Right.
And now it seems like they're going downhill. Like not only is your story and your plot and the rest of the movie going downhill,
Mm-hmm.
but now it seems like you're literally throwing this franchise in the water.
No, it should have thrown Jason in the water. This movie just has so many issues. I mean, it makes no sense. We addressed that earlier. I was joking earlier with the whole Camp Crystal Lake being connected to the ocean to going to New York. Again, that is absolutely terrible. And I think there's one issue I really identified with this movie. And I don't know if you agree with me, so I'll let you know what I think. I feel like there's two movies here. I don't know if you get that sense, where I think maybe individually each of these concepts could have worked to an extent. What I mean by that is the boat idea. The idea of maybe a boat being in the apparently, unrevealed size of Camp Crystal Lake. You could have like a party boat type thing where Jason was on the party boat and he was killing people. Okay, that concept could have maybe worked, if you different directions, different pacing, whatnot. I think you might have had something there. Then the idea of Jason in the city is a incredible idea and where the series should have went. They really just should have stuck to their main title and kept Jason in the city. The problem is they took two different ideas, essentially, and smashed them both together, and this is what came out of it. And the reason they did it was due to budgetary reasons, because they couldn't film in New York. A lot of this isn't even... The only scene that's filmed in New York is the Times Square scene. None of the other city scenes, I think they're filmed in Vancouver, I want to say. They're not even in New York, so a lot of good that did. But again, budgetary reasons, they couldn't even get it into the city. I just think they tried to merge two different things together that just, they don't work together. You should have fleshed out either one or the other. If you couldn't do the city, then they should have dropped it and not done it at all.
That's the other thing about like some of these movies too. Like, if you don't have the budget to do it well, then don't do it at all. Don't like make a mockery out of it.
Well, the thing is,
just for the sake of like,
you have to be creative.
Trying to put it out.
That's what we call creativity. You know, I mean, I've seen low budget movies with way more love and effort put into it that make their concept work versus something that's money's dumped into it and it comes out looking like trash, like this movie. Again, the budget wasn't insane for this movie, I don't believe, but at the same time, there's no excuse. If you couldn't deliver on Jason Takes Manhattan, don't call the movie Jason Takes Manhattan. He's not even there. And I know that's like the easy, low-hanging fruit to make fun of this movie, but that is the worst thing about it, is Jason's not in Manhattan. For 20 minutes, 30 minutes, Jason's in Manhattan. That's it.
Yo, wake up. Oh, shit. Check it out. Damn, we're in New York. You did it, man. You did it. We are in New York. New York City. Finally.
And then keep that in mind. This is probably at this point, this is the longest and most boring of the Friday the 13th movies. There's long scenes of just senseless dialogue with nothing happening. Apparently character development, if they want to call it that, I guess, between the students who were all terrible.
So what do you think? Time for some personal experiences to fuel our minds?
Oh my God!
I agree.
I don't even go into the students, but they're all terrible. All the characters are absolutely terrible. They're all stereotypes. They're all again, low-hanging fruit. I use that expression again. They're all low-hanging fruit stereotypes of the slutty girl, the jock guy, the guy who's the guy who's walking away with your girl. You know, like those stupid things. That's what they are. There's nothing redeemable about them.
Well, the other stupid thing that they do too is they have a whole bunch of people on this boat,
right?
And like a whole group of kids, and then they just dismiss like 9 or 10 of them.
Yeah.
By like they drowned in like the kitchen or something
it's
like
never
that.
Really identified.
And it was just so stupid.
Because you know, at the beginning of this movie, this boat is incredibly filled with people. There's a lot of kids on this boat, and then by the end, when Jason's leaving and the boat's sinking or whatever, like, oh, I guess they died. You don't see any of them. They're all missing apparently throughout the rest of the movie.
Well, they do talk about it. Like the one kid comes up, and they go, well, where's all the other kids or something? And like, what are you talking about? They drowned it in like the kitchen area or something.
Oh, wait! I left the others in the restaurant.
There is no more restaurant.
Like he does mention it, but it's just so stupid. It's like
no, it's a plot hole for sure.
And let's just add more stupid crap to this.
Let's add the stupidest crap to it. I think I want to add the stupidest crap. The end.
Yeah.
The end of this movie is by far the worst thing. Well, I probably shouldn't say that yet, but it is by far one of the worst things I've ever seen in a movie, to where essentially, I didn't know if you knew this either. See, I learned something else I learned something about New York. We only spent 30 minutes there, but I did learn this about New York, that every night at midnight, the sewers flood with toxic waste that will kill anything in its path.
What the hell are you kids doing down here?
Can you help us get out of here?
I sure can, but we haven't got a minute to spare.
What do you mean?
Toxic waste, son. The sewer floods out with this stuff every night at midnight. Less than 10 minutes from now.
Every night at midnight. Did you know that?
What? What the fuck?
That's pretty intense.
I didn't know that.
I gotta make sure I stay out of the sewers at midnight if I ever go to New
Seriously.
York. Yeah, so
Hopefully
that's how
the Ninja Turtles. And,
spoiler alert. So that's how they kill Jason, apparently. So Jason's chasing him through the sewers. He catches up to them. She knocks his mask off, which by far this is the worst makeup job I've ever seen in my entire life. That face haunts me for all the wrong reasons. That face that they show of his disfigured face isn't haunting for the correct reasons. It's haunting because it's the worst piece of practical effect I've ever seen on a horror icon such as Jason Voorhees. Absolutely terrible. And then suddenly it's midnight, and guess what? The sewers flood with toxic waste. Toxic waste goes crashing into Jason. They get away. And what does she do? She looks down and she sees the body of a young Jason Voorhees, no longer Jason. The slasher Jason. It's just the body of a young boy crawled up into a ball.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
So how would you like to read that ending? I interpret that as, I guess, the toxic waste melted away the artificial body of zombie Jason Voorhees, and he turned back into a little boy. He's like Pinocchio. He turned into a real boy. Jason turns into a real boy at the end, but I guess he's still dead. He's just a little boy now.
Yes.
Or maybe his soul's at rest, right? Jason, toxic waste cleansed his soul.
Oh.
Wow.
They're gonna make another movie now. They're gonna have Toxic Waste Jason.
Yeah, well, we do have the New Jersey Toxic Avenger, which is something we should talk about in the future. But going on with my side point, that's just terrible. And then we have the end where they're out in the city and something runs up to them. You think it's Jason, it's actually just the dog who's alive.
Surprise, motherfucker.
It did make me happy. Not gonna lie, made me a little happy. Happy the movie was over because the credits came up. This movie is dog shit on every level, and again, I feel like it's easy to say because it's been said before, but this movie, there's really nothing redeemable in my eyes about this movie, and maybe you can even argue the worst thing that happened because of this. Friday the 13th, this movie did so bad, Takes Manhattan, that Paramount sold the rights to Jason Voorhees to New Line Cinema. And why is that a bad thing? We're going to talk about that in the next review. I think we're at that point of the video. We're going to give our Real Kill Award. Due to the nature of the season, myself and John will now select a recipient of the Real Kill Award, a special award given to the kill we think is the highlight of the film. John, who would you like to present your award to?
My Real Kill Award goes to Tamara, who's, after she's trying to play off the principal and trying to get herself, I guess, to graduate.
Oh, yeah.
After that, she goes to the bathroom moments later, and then I feel like it's awesome because he breaks down the door and she's huddled in the corner and he just grabs the glass and just stabs her with it. I feel like that's one of the great kills to this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it that. It's unsettling. Something about it is uncomfortable to me. I don't know if it's just the glass. He just shatters this glass and it's just big chunk of glass and he's just about to stab. But it just, I don't know, it's just raw and gross, I think, is really the main takeaway. I would like to present my Real Kill Award. Julius is the boxer of the movie. He's been boxing and, he's been pretty gung-ho about fighting Jason. We didn't really mention that so far in this review, but he's been wanting to fight Jason. He's we got to go find him and hunt him down.
Walking corpses are not real.
Yeah. Yeah, well, these dead bodies are sure not real, all right? Now, I say we regroup and let's go find this motherfucker before he finds us, huh? Are you with me?
Watch your mouth, young man, and you'll do no such thing. I'm in charge here.
School is out. Come on.
He gets weapons when they're on the boat to try and hunt this guy down. Again, he's like a tough guy, you know, he's really going for it. So him and Jason have this confrontation on the roof, and Julius is just giving him the 1-2, right? He's just punching him. He's trying to beat him up. He's boxing him. Jason's like not even flinching. Again, props to Kane Hodder for really like showing like how intimidating Jason can be, even in his garbage makeup. So
Well, I
they're
also think the
fighting.
cool part to that is too, like he actually takes like the punches and stuff.
Yeah, he's
like it's
absorbing
actually
it.
really happening. Yeah.
Yeah, he's really
So I
getting
thought that was
hit. He
pretty
told
cool.
him to hit him. He's like, hit me. I don't really care, which that's impressive. So he's punching him. He gets all winded, and then Jason, just one big punch, punches Julius's head right off. Clean off his head. And it's just
It's great.
a monster. And it's ridiculous. It's absurd. It's pretty cool. And overall, it's pretty cool. It's just cool to see someone just get their head just clean knocked off. Makes no sense realistically, but whatever. I'll give it that. In a movie that had little to nothing in it, I'd say that's pretty cool.
Very little blood when his head comes off.
Yeah. And now, John, did you have any other kills that you liked in this movie? There might have been one or two other ones at least.
I also like the part where the kid that was boxing Julius beforehand, like they were having their little boxing match, and then he goes to like the sauna after getting beaten up, and then like Jason just walks into the room, and he's kind of thinks somebody else is coming in there, and he's like, "Don't worry, next time I'm gonna get you, Julius." And Jason just takes like that hot rock.
Julius?
And just burns it through his flesh and skin, and it kills him. And it's like just an awesome, cool shot of like an interesting way to kill someone. I thought.
No, I agree. That's kind of gross-tastic. Something about shoving a rock into someone's, abdomen there and just burning a hole through the guy. By the way, that's a really nice boat. I have to say, they have a sauna and in that boat. That's pretty nice considering it's just a party boat cruise ship thing. I'd go on that. That's pretty cool. The only other kill I actually did enjoy, while it plays into a cliche I extremely dislike with teleporting Jason. I think the whole the girl Ava who's killed on the dance floor. There's a scene where this girl Ava, she's being chased by Jason, and she goes into the dance hall where they have like the party music playing and everything. And it's a small dance floor, and she's like circling around in circles, like going around and around and around. And suddenly she stops, and Jason's like right in front of her out of nowhere. And he just picks her up, grabs her, and chokes her to death. And then he just drops her body lifeless on the floor. And it's pretty like, you see that a lot in movies. That's not like an uncommon death in a lot of these movies, but it's just her body going limp like that. I just felt that was like really, really fantastic. I actually really did like it.
Great acting too by her.
Yeah, not bad at all. But overall, I wish I could say that about this movie. I think we're at that point, though, where we're going to give our final scores. I'm going to give Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, to no one's surprise, an F. this movie's terrible. Just skip it. Just ignore it. It's not going to matter, and you'll see why in the next review. You know, it's a shame because I think there was potential with either of these ideas. I think one would work or another one could work. You know, either the boat idea could work or the Manhattan idea would work. Preferably the Manhattan idea was really cool. I wish that's what they stuck with. Unfortunately, that's not what we got. This movie's a disaster. You can argue it almost killed the franchise, but I think that honor goes to another movie. This movie's disappointing on every level. John, where do you stand with this movie?
Yeah, I give this movie an F too. It's just so bad of a movie. It doesn't even get like too many great kills in it either. So like, for a movie that you're hoping that gets kills at least with your bad plots and everything, this movie just doesn't add up. It's just one of those movies that honestly is one of the bottom of the list movies.
No, I agree. You know, I really wish I had more positive things to say. Jason deserved more. But don't worry. We have some exciting things to come in his next adventure. You guys stay tuned at home.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Great.
John, where can the people find us at home?
You can find us on YouTube, The Real Movie Guys on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel, like this discussion, tell us your opinion on this movie or other of the Friday the 13th movies. You could tell us also maybe which movies you like best in order, maybe. You could also find us on Twitter at The Real Movie Guys. You can follow us there, see when we're releasing certain things and other things that we put out. You can also follow us on many podcasting platforms such as...
Yes, for your listening pleasure. We are also available in podcast form at iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcast, Overcast, Breaker, Radio Public, and Pocket Casts. Be sure to give us a listen at any of those fine platforms. If you already are right now, hey, we greatly appreciate it. Just search Real Movie Guys. We should pop right up. Thank you all so much for joining us for this episode of The Real Review. My name's Kevin. This guy over here, he's John. We are The Real Movie Guys. Real guys, real movies, real thoughts. And don't worry, there are more scares to come as Real Terror Month continues. We will scare you next time.